Hi, I'm Steve Brown. I lead Arrow Leadership. We develop Jesus-centered leaders, and today on Tips and Tools for Leaders, we're going to look at finding you at your best. One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do I serve and live and make the greatest impact I possibly can? And I want to point you toward a tool that my coach gave to me. It's a tic-tac-toe tool, and there's 9 boxes in the tic-tac-toe chart. And your challenge is to write in each of these 9 boxes, what's a word or a phrase that describes you at your best? So my words are going to be different than yours likely, but my words would be, if I were to think about me at my best, how God has wired me, the experiences I've had, the skills I have, the calling I sense that God's stirred in me. One would be to serve with leaders. So that's a target group. Another would be around being a strategic thinker. Another would be around being a communicator. Another for me would be having space to process, to think. And you fill these 9 out. So with skills, with passion areas, with the environment that's best for you, and you get a picture of how God has been wiring you and calling you. And that picture, in a sense, begins to give you a sense of you at your best. So if you can't figure this out on your own, ask some people around you, what's a word or phrase that describes me at my best? And that might help you fill in some of the blanks. How do you use this? Go back over this and put some evaluation to each of the 9 boxes. If working with leaders, for instance, for me is something I'm able to do pretty regularly, I'd put a plus in there. If space to process is something that I don't actually get a whole lot, I'd put a X there. If strategic thinking is something I do sometimes or have space for sometimes, I'd put a dash there. So in each box, put a plus, you get to do it a lot, a dash sometimes, or an X, actually it's not something I get to do very much at all. And when you step back, if there's lots of pluses in the 9 boxes, you'll see I'm actually pretty on target to, as best as I know, giving my best. If there's lots of X's, you're likely going to feel some stress and some frustration because you're not actually being able to live out you at your best. So, what do you do with that? If there are lots of dashes sometimes, or X's, actually is not part of what I'm able to do right now, ask yourself, is there anything we could change about your environment, about your team, about your work habits or rhythms to help you move that X or that dash to a check mark? You could also have a conversation with your supervisor and say, this is me at my best, but actually there's some areas that I'm not able to fully express in the current role. Is there anything we could do differently? So it can set up a conversation. So this tool can help you focus with the idea and just the foundation that ultimately God's the one who calls you. You're not your own. The Holy Spirit is the override in God's call for you. So keep remembering that. 2 more applications. You can use this as a tool to help you with new hires or new team members joining your team. So if you've got a new role, put in the 9 words or phrases in the tic-tac-toe box that describe the ideal candidate for this role, someone who'd really succeed. And then evaluate the resumes and make your interview questions around these 9 boxes. And for each box, give the person a check mark, a dash, or an X. And that'll help you have an objective grid as you bring on a new person onto your team. Last thought, this can also help you evaluate new opportunities that might be God's call for your life. So you can interview your new opportunity, in a sense, with these 9 boxes. Is this something that would be a check mark, a dash, or an X? You can download this tool free. The link is on the screen. We trust this is going to be a great tool to help you lead more at your best.